Hello, welcome to another video, another lockdown video, another video indoors, another video of me sat in this room. I'm not enjoying these videos indoors, but they are good fun. That sounds a bit confusing, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm going to have another chat online. Again, we're using Zoom as the communication on the internet. It works quite well, and I'm sure you've already seen a chat I did last week. And yeah, I'm hoping to have a chat with a couple of other vloggers. One is a past vlogger. He's thinking about coming back on the scene, and I hope he does. And the two others are quite new to vlogging. One guy is a professional photographer anyway, and the other guy's just relatively new to the old vlogging thing. So yeah, never met them before, never spoke to them before. So yeah, let's get this thing connected and let's have a bit of a chat, shall we?
Hello.
Hello. That's better. That's better. I started it the wrong way round. I knew there was something wrong.
Yeah. You sure for practice?
I've practiced yesterday. I've actually got a video going out at 12 o'clock today. It's an hour and a half conversation we had. So
I can't talk for 10 minutes.
Pretty cool. No, it's fine. Yeah, 10 or 15 minutes is more than enough. I think everyone will be sick of watching it. But then saying that, they've got nothing else to watch at the moment, have they? You know, no. You can't go out, and there's only so many times you can watch The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Where's our Dan gone?
I've got in my garden, for instance. I've told you, like in my garden, we've got loads. Like everybody has now. Probably been to B&Q and what have you. But we've always got bird's nest, and
yeah.
My speciality is probably astrophotography anyway. So, but the problem I've got is we live next door to a caravan park, and they've got all the lights on. And where all the stars are is right underneath the light. So my challenge is, it's like trying to go to the Lake District, to be fair. It's kind of just as hard trying to take a picture in the back garden as it is.
I was actually inspired by you. I was looking out the window last night trying to see if I could see the moon, but there was no moon out or anything. I've done it before. I've shot the moon, shot stars and stuff, but yeah,
it was dead funny because when I was in my bedroom, I can see the sunset at Blackpool, right?
Can you?
Yeah. Can see the sunset in Blackpool, but the problem is when I'm in my bedroom, it's on the wrong place. So what I had to do is I go into Grandad's bedroom, and it was too far away. So I now had to hang out the bathroom window, and I got this picture of the sun setting on a lamppost. It looks like a smiley face, but
oh wow!
So I had this 400mm out hanging out the bathroom window. So people would have thought I was a twitcher or a perv.
Yeah.
But that's what I've got the picture. You know, it was just a picture of a lamppost, but it looks like a smiley face. So I've got the lamppost with the two eyes. And,
yeah, wicked.
The sun behind, massive.
I must admit, I mean, it's definitely bringing out the sort of inspiration in people, isn't it? You know, people are trying different things at the moment, or really getting out there. I had a go at Thomas Eaton's idea yesterday. He got a fish tank out and threw all sorts of things in it, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. I've made a complete mess of it, so we'll try again.
What I've kind of done is I've basically my website was a bit bobbins, so I've kind of spent the last week doing that. I've also got this online, so digital downloads. So I've started to do that, which is a lot easier. So I'll just share them on Twitter and stuff, and people download them for the fraction. And they're images that they're still lovely images, but not sentimental, if you will. So they're still really, really good images, but they're not. So if they sell for a tenner or a fiver, I'm not too fussed about it, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it's something I always thought about doing, getting stuff online properly, but I'm too lazy for it. I really am. So do you guys want to do a quick introduction? Because I know two of you are sort of new to vlogging. Definitely Ben, you're quite new to it, aren't you? So do you want to do a quick introduction and say hello and who you are? Because this will be going out on my channel anyway.
Okay, do you want me to start then?
Go for it.
Yeah, so as Paul's mentioned, I'm very new to vlogging. Only been doing it for 12 months just over, which is my kind of last serious vlog. Been into photography for about 3 years now. Self-taught, just doing a diploma in photography now. And yeah, absolutely loving it. Just doing it for my own personal. I think probably the reason why I started doing vlogging was just to just document really what I was doing when I was out. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, what do you get up to when you're out doing your photography?"
Yeah.
It's available on YouTube now. I suppose a lot of people start that way, but Well, yeah, that's my kind of my photography life. I work for Eddie Stobart's 4 on 4 off, so I do get a lot of time in between. So yeah, I just sort of use those 4 days off to try and do as much photography as I could.
Yeah, cool, cool.
Vlogging sort of went into it, so yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
really
good to see your channel out, see how it grows and stuff like that. It's
Thank you.
so far so good. It looks pretty good, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Mark, go for it.
Yeah, I'm Mark. I'm a photographer. Been doing as a professional photographer now for last 5 years. Before that, I used to work for United Utilities, driving a truck, HGV wagon, 70 hours a week. Situation come where I swapped. My wife went back to work, and I took over doing the photography. And I was like at home looking after the girls, after the twins, and what have you. So I'd be able to grow my business. So now I don't do too many workshops at the moment, but I sell prints. I do wedding photography, so I do 3 weddings a month usually. If possible.
You're the man. You're the pro. You're the big professional.
Yeah, well, you know what? Professional just means you get somewhere on time and you show up and you, do a job. Professional. There's lots of so-called professionals who.
So why vlogging?
Vlogging, I've done it because I think, like I've said on my vlogs, so they're more of a diary really. I'm talking now, but half the time I can't even speak three words in it.
I don't even know how I manage to vlog. I really don't.
And also as well, what I find is if you're good, probably take this the wrong way, but if you're good at photography or you're good at videos, I think it's if you do it. So for instance, if I set out to do a vlog and not photography, my quality of my vlog goes through the roof. But what I normally do is I tend to go out just taking pictures, and then I think, oh, do you know what? I'll do a vlog. And it's just a mishmash, really. There's no ending. There's no story. There's no. So that's why
it's just raw. It's quite good.
Yeah. So basically, mine is just a diary of me, because if I try and plan something, it always goes wrong. To be honest.
Oh God. No, I've never planned anything. I'm sure if you've ever seen any of mine, nothing's planned. It's just straight out on away we go. So yeah, no.
What I mean is just simple things like I'm learning to actually probably take the shot first, go and get my decent shot or your shot for the vlog. And then make a story up along that. I'm kind of winging it as I go along, to be fair. It's kind of,
I've been winging it since the day I started. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Also, I think if you have your fingers in about a million pies,
eventually you'll get something. Yeah, eventually. That's why I'm still working full time, because there's too many people out there trying to make that, those few quids, and I don't need to be one of them. So I'm not at the moment anyway. The dream's there, but it's too hard.
My only tip for you is that I had a job that I was working driving a truck 70 hours a week. I was getting a good wage, over £3,000 a month. But I would never have dreamed of doing it. Now, one time I started to get high blood pressure and whatever it is. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to have some time off. And I think if you've got a decent job, you're never going to do your dream. You need some kick at the bottom, because also as well, if you went to do it now, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but if you went to do a job as a photographer and it was your job, your motivation every day would be to go out and take photos. I mean, you can't do it now, but your motivation at the moment, you haven't got any motivation to make any money from your photography because you've got a decent job. So,
good question then. Did you find that your sort of inspiration changed when you became a professional photographer, actually making a living from it being a hobby?
Yeah, you basically have to get up every morning, or you have to engage in people, you have to share your social media, you have to try and get work, because that is your job, that's your money. And if you go a few months without getting, for instance, if you don't sell a print, or you don't, it can be a bit of a struggle, to be fair.
That's my worry. Is sort of.
But you know what? That will be your worry. But when you're actually doing it, you have to do it. So if you've got a full-time job and you're sat at home, you've got no worries because your money's coming in. Yeah. As soon as that money stops, you're like, hang on a minute. Cool. And now at the moment, I'm just debating, like we're saying about going out. If someone was to book me, I won't go taking pictures of empty streets, because I think that's too much of a risk. That's down to the press photographers. But so social media now, images I'm sending off to the press are just pictures of the moon and stars and stuff like that. So they'll sell popular sunsets and things that you can do.
I've done quite a lot of event stuff and press photography and stuff like that, in and around the local area. So it's different anyway. But I don't make money out of it, that's for sure. So Dan, tell us your story, mate.
Oh God, no. Where do we start on that one? Yeah. Okay. Well,
About there, and then when it gets to there, we should be there then.
I first started YouTube. I'll start with YouTube. I started on YouTube probably, I think, seriously, about 12 years ago.
Wow.
Originally, YouTube, I think, started in about 2005. And I had 2 or 3 different channels in about 2007, 2008. And 2008, I think, was probably, as a stills photographer, maybe one of the more interesting times because they announced, obviously, the Canon 5D Mark II coming out, obviously with its video capability.
Yeah.
And I was an early adopter of that 5D in 2008, 2009. And used that quite a lot to do a variety of different things. Not necessarily just landscapes. I think at the time I was helping and doing bits and bats of work with a couple of companies that were producing photographic software.
Yeah.
So I'm giving feedback on some of their products. So I'd have tutorials online about how to use beta tests of some of their products. And that was effectively how I started putting stuff on YouTube. And I used YouTube quite a bit and had quite a decent following for a while on a couple of those channels. But at that time, editing and shooting was incredibly time consuming, to be honest.
I bet it was quite hard back then as well, wasn't it? It's made it a lot faster now.
Yeah, it was so slow to get anything done, and rendering files out to gauges.
Yeah.
The whole thing, it felt like you was swimming in treacle. It was a real battle. And of course, at the time, there was no way to monetize it. So there was no real revenue to come from it either.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it just became became too time consuming, and I decided that I would back off it. And I've got a love-hate relationship with vlogging.
You said that to me many a times.
Yeah. For anybody who's ever watched any of the vlogs that I've started to put out in later years, you'll see that I drift in and out of vlogging a lot.
Yeah, I think I saw one with your drone. I think, would you have drones over the top of a car? Was it a Jaguar or something like that?
Yeah, what you call it? I've got a drone. We have a drone inspections company.
Yeah.
So we do offshore inspections of offshore assets, as well as some filming as well. And so yeah, I mean, we've done I've done various vlogs at various stages using drones and talking about drone technology and how to use it from a photographer's perspective or a videographer's perspective. So, but I'll do stuff and I'll put a lot of vlogs out, and then eventually I'll think, right, I've just had enough of this, and I kind of stop. I've got a really busy life as well. Yeah. So that takes up a lot of my time, and I end up kind of thinking, well, look, this is impinging on everything else that I do.
Yeah.
I drifted back into it actually because just to give you a bit of a human interest angle to this video, really, I had a daughter that was born 4 years ago last month, and she was born really very ill. She was born with 4 holes in the heart.
Wow.
So she needed heart surgery and had heart surgery up at the Freeman Hospital in Newcastle. Those guys, by the way, absolutely and utterly fantastic, genius level surgeons, and incredibly capable. Yeah, fantastic. Basically saved her life. She was in heart failure. They saved her life. She's now perfectly well, and probably too well. I wish I could have dialed her down a little bit.
Times it by 2. Times it by 4. Times it by 2. Honestly, my hair is falling out.
It's absolutely mental. But that then got me back into vlogging, as daft as it sounds. I amongst other things, I own sort of gyms and fitness companies. So we've got a gym locally that we have, and I ended up taking about 20 months out of work and doing nothing that we do business-wise or commercially. And when she was well and recovered, I decided that I'd start vlogging again because it was inherently something that I enjoyed doing. So I decided I'd spend more time outdoors for my own kind of relaxation, and I'd start creating vlogs again. And that's how I got back into it.
Yeah.
And then the past year, the reason that I've had a year off again is really down to the fact that I got busy again, so it becomes problematic.
It's a very time-consuming thing, this vlogging lark, isn't it? I mean, I'm sat in front of the computer every single night after work because I don't have the kids here to run around and chase after, so I'm lucky that way. But it's a very time-consuming thing, but it's
shooting it. I mean, I think you get faster editing,
Yes, yeah, oh, definitely.
Because
especially if you're trying to find interesting stuff. See, I was saying yesterday on a video I did, just basically saying I put out anything. You know, me and Denise got up to do a sunrise the other week, and that will go out in a couple of weeks probably. And it just was flat. There was nothing. It was boring. The pictures couldn't be any more boring, flat, and horrible. But I put it out anyway because it's sort of real. That's normal. That's reality. That's what we get normally, probably 9 times out of 10. You know, so I tend to put, my vlogs have always been sort of whatever I am on that Saturday or Sunday, whenever I'm out, that's what you're going to get. And just sort of just to show that you can make the most of the day you're out. You know, but like you say, if you're looking for some quality stuff, you can spend days and days and hours searching for it and looking for it.
And that's the thing. I think you've got to decide who you are as a person, as a photographer, and as a vlogger. And one of the reasons that vlogging has always really, I found it, you know, something that grinds with me is because when you're concentrating as well on vlogging, you're not concentrating on photography. So
oh God, yeah.
There is always a drop in the standard.
Yeah.
Of photography.
I've recently worked that out in my head, thinking, you know, I'm looking at my photographs thinking nothing's really floating my boat. I'm like, hang on a minute, you know, and it's because you're vlogging, you are taking a percentage away from your head to do something else. So yeah, there is a detrimental effect to that.
There is, and you know, so you've got to decide: are you a videographer, are you a vlogger, or are you a photographer?
Yeah.
And then away from that, I think the other thing is that, as I say, deciding about who you are as a photographer, then decides who you are as a vlogger. You know, for me, everything is really about the image, but then when you vlog, it becomes about the vlog. And I think that a lot of the time, I don't really want to put out stuff that I'm not happy with.
Yeah.
But invariably, almost every vlog that I've put out is something that I'm not happy with because you're not concentrating on the photography.
Yeah,
You're trying to shoot yourself. You're thinking about the safety of the camera. You've obviously everything's wired up in my.
If you watch my vlogs, Dan, mine's full of gaps because I forget. I don't record. I get on with the photo. So I do the photo, and then there's a massive 5-minute window where
and he appears somewhere else.
Where basically I'm somewhere else, and the sun's gone down. It's next morning, and I've got the shot, and then I put at the end, finished now. Forgot to record it, and
makes him a week to do a 5-minute vlog. He just keeps getting out 5 minutes.
So I kind of mine's always been the photography. So when the videos are better, the photography's crap, really, to be fair.
Isn't that what your B-roll's for? That's good B-roll.
B-roll's a big thing, isn't it? You know, I mean, I want to try and roll back the video slightly to try and do a bit more. I want to try and concentrate on the photograph and then add the video. But if you need, you know, you kind of you have to put a bit of B-roll in, so you've got to constantly be thinking about that while you're moving around, because that tells the story of where, when, and how. You know, so yeah, there's definitely a good mix involved in getting it all done. But I do want to roll back slightly and just come back to the photograph, concentrate on that. I mean, I keep paraphrasing Thomas Heaton, you know, and keep talking about him, but he seems to concentrate on the image and then he'll add the video. Whereas I don't, I just take it all as it goes along and get what we get.
You should do, Paul, strip back, basically.
Yeah.
Clunk the door of your car, turn your camera on and take the shot, you know, and do it that way, really. Don't faff about too much, to be honest. And
I mean, I enjoy the way I do it. But I definitely want to strip a little bit.
The 5-minute vlog.
I'll never get a 5-minute vlog. Never, not a chance.
No.
That's it's a good question, that, actually. I mean, in terms of length of vlog, see, this is another issue for me. When I used to watch a lot of vlogs, a lot of photography vlogs, I like to watch a longer vlog.
Yeah.
I quite like to watch something which is 20 to 30 minutes that feels like a TV episode.
Yes, yeah.
The reality for me, as long as it's well produced, you know, because like by the time I don't get a lot of spare time. So when I do, I want to be immersed in what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I want it to be good quality. I want the narrative to be good. I want the story to be good. I want there to be a payoff, and the payoff has to be, for me, a good image.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, Paul, about, you know, the reality of day to day, and sometimes I think that's important to have that in there. But if the majority of the vlogs become mundane, then you feel as a viewer that it's very hit and miss, and there's no payoff. There has to be a payoff.
I remember when
the stunning image, you know.
Yeah, I remember when I started, and you know, a lot of people said to me, "You've got to work between sort of 10 or 12 minutes is about right. 15, you're pushing it." And I don't think many of my vlogs are ever under 18. I mean, some of them are 20, 30 minutes now, but we're out for the day, so you're filling the story. And I've had so many people when I do put a shorter one out, they say, "Well, where's the rest of it?" Because they're engaged in that whole day out that me and Denise has done, or me and Mr. O when he comes out. They're engaged in that whole day out and that whole adventure. And the photography is part of that trip, part of the adventure, part of the day out. Whereas a lot of people do like a scripted 10 minutes and they finish off with this nice photograph. And to me, I like to get immersed in it. Like you say, you sort of get carried away with the person and the day and the trip and what's going on. So yeah, I've never really worried about time as much. And, you know, like I said, when I do put short ones out, I get more complaints than I do when I put a long one out, you know, so.
I mean, again, YouTube, I think YouTube probably favours things that are around 15 minutes anyway.
Yeah. If you're worried about, that's it. If you're worried about the growth thing and the algorithms and the way all that works, then yeah, I get that, but I'm not getting into that.
With me, I don't know if you probably, with me, Paul and Dan, my problem is time management. So my videos are short because basically I look out the window, the weather's pretty decent, I jump in the car or whatever it is and go and do the vlog. Very rarely have I got a full day to go out without the kids.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
So it's kind of difficult. I love to, you know, when the kids go to school, I think they go to school in September if they're all open. My windows will be a lot better. But
that's on the exception, you know, because there are people that do go out for full days. I mean, they drive 4 or 5 hours. They go out for a full day. They take, you know, they say they take 1 or 2 pictures, but they must take loads. And then they drive 4 or 5 hours home, and then they produce a 10 to 12 minute video. You think, why have you crammed all that into that little tiny bit? Or how have you crammed? I find how is the biggest word. I don't know how to do that. I don't know about you, Ben, but shrinking them down to this size and cutting it all out, I don't know how to do, you know, so I tend
to... The biggest one I've done is the Cornwall one, which I've had to put into 2, but even that was 2 20-minute videos.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I found very difficult is actually how to cut it down and what you put
I don't know how
would we roll. Essentially it's all about the images, and I think that's what we need to do as landscape photographers and is doing vlogs. It is, as everyone said, it's all about the images. And I think it's providing you get the story around those images, what the whole basis, why you're taking that image across, then you've won. Everything else is just sort of additional information. That's the way I see it.
You know, see, I tend to kind of disagree with. I know most 99% or 85% of people, their vlogs are about the image at the end. I think mine was originally talking about the image, but I've now come to. The images are part of that adventure, part of that day out, part of whatever it is we're doing that day. So I am probably slightly different to the majority, that I don't take it as it's all about the image. And people that watch mine, I know, you know, several people that I talk to, they actually enjoy where I'm taking them, what I'm doing and how we're doing it, and the fact that we produce images as well along the line. So there is that balance between both as well. So yeah, I'm probably slightly different than that then. I don't class mine as just the photograph and then add the video. Mines tend to be probably the day out, the adventure, and then the video, you know, then the photography is all part of it.
Yeah, like a story of the day, really, like a diary of the day, really.
Yeah. And that's because that's the way it's just adapted, really, with me or with us. And you know, a lot of people do. I don't take Denise out of me. Well, where's Mrs. C? We don't have to be tied together, you know, and it's all part of that. That's what we've become. We've become this little entity, this thing that people enjoy watching. Where we're going next, what we're up to next, and that's maybe because my photography's crap. So I don't know.
People have got to bang into you though for that to work. They've got to really like you and invest in you as a person.
Yes, yeah, agreed, totally, yeah.
That's your unique selling point.
You're a miserable person that, you know, nobody would watch it for the sake of enjoying watching me.
No, well, and that's the other thing, you know, like you say, they invest in us. They like watching us because of what we do, you know, the way we are. And everybody can't be the best photographer. There's no such thing as, I mean, what's right or what's wrong at the end of the day, but everyone can't produce the best photographs. So I might not be the best photographer, but my YouTube channel shows that you can make a photograph out of pretty much any condition, and it's part, you know, and we're out doing it, which is encouraging people and taking people for the ride. Some people can't get out and climb around and do stupid things. And, you know, I jump and stand on the end of cliffs and hills and things, and I get slated for it by some people, and other people are like, well, you're crazy, but it gives them something to watch. You know, we can't all be James Bond, but, you know, some of us tend to think we are, you know. So yeah, it is. It's, for me, it's part of everything rather than just a photo.
Is that your main motivation then? Your main motivation is to encourage as wide an audience as possible to engage in photography, or what is your motivation?
I've never thought about motivation, to be honest. I mean, when I started, and I've mentioned this before, so I don't want to bore me subscribers too much, you know, people watching, but I've mentioned that when I started the vlogging, I've been a photographer for years and years and years, since I went out of school with a little pocket camera at school. And I got into camera clubs, which really had a negative effect. I mean, it was positive at first. I learned a lot and met, you know, new friends, and it got me interested in different genres and stuff like that. But I got to the stage where I was only taking photographs to show the judge. It wasn't for me. It was to try and win the competition, to try and get that extra point. So vlogging for me was a release. I stopped the camera clubs. I stopped doing that sort of thing. So what am I going to do next? And I just thought, let's give this a try. And I was convinced, you know, Chris Sale said to me, give it a go. And off I went. And I just thoroughly enjoy the fact that I take photographs and, you know, you show people how you find a composition, or you do things like that. I'm not the big mathematical magic triangle. You know, I use semi-automatic modes. I'm not a big, you have to shoot in manual sort of thing. And it's turned into more about, going out, picking a location, going out and just seeing what happens and taking photographs while we're out. The intention is to get a photograph. It's always been to get a photograph, but my vlogging channel, I think, is more about the whole adventure going. And that's what my subscriber base seems to be more about as well. Yes. There's more to the technical, you know, more than just the technical bit, because there's so many people doing the technical side, isn't there? You know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. You see, I think it's difficult because I definitely wouldn't describe myself as a technical photographer, but I think having a really massively detailed knowledge of the technical side of photography is crucial if you really want to be a good photographer.
Yeah, if you're dedicated and serious to doing it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I think, as I say, my early ventures onto YouTube as a vlogger or as a photographer were very much about the technical aspects of photography. Yeah. Talking to you about composition, talking to you about how to use software, how to post-process, how to, you know, whatever it was at the time. When HDR came in, I did a lot of stuff on HDR and explaining to people how to work with tone mapping. But I think the thing is ultimately they're not really what makes a good photo. You know, what makes a good photo is, you know, being able to create something that is either visually, aesthetically appealing or something that connects emotionally with people.
Yeah, like you say, going out in the weather and the storms and things like that. Yeah. I mean, that video, one of your last videos, is most memorable video for me. Is, you know, the fact that you were out in that storm, still on that beach, and that's just crazy. And I've just recently done a similar thing in Storm Dennis and that is really. It's such a story to tell, you know, and slight risks to take, but yeah, that's cool.
There is a bit of a risk, and, you know, and the stuff that I've not put up because I felt it's too risky. I mean, there's one where we had a massive storm and I was at Whitby, and I was stood on the wall of the pier, at Whitby, right on the edge, and you're getting sprayed by these huge breakers coming in.
And there's no railings along there, is there?
The pier was shut down, and I'd kind of breached the barrier to get up there, and I ended up having the Coast Guard come and tell me to get off the wall.
Yeah.
And obviously, rightly or wrongly, I kind of told them to do one. You know, I said, look, guys, I'm getting a shot. I'm not going anywhere.
I can't imagine you doing that.
It's very much unlike me.
I think if you're getting that sort of a shot, you've got to concentrate on the photography rather than doing a vlog, haven't you, really? You know.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. But the reason I didn't put it out is because I thought it was so stupid. Actually, it was a dangerous thing to do. It was windy as hell. There was a lot of spray, some big waves. You were getting hit by them occasionally. And I didn't want to encourage anybody to do something quite as idiotic.
That's the thing, yeah.
There's a cut-off line between what you're happy to do for your own personal risk and what you want other people to do.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, okay, you hope that the majority of people are able to manage their own risk-taking and make a sensible decision, but I think there's some responsibility somewhere along the lines that you have to have.
We do. I've discovered this over the couple of years of doing this, that, you know, you have a responsibility, and people in the pub, you know, you are in the public eye, and I've jumped over a few fences and gates, and you stand on the edge of things. I mean, I convinced a young 18-year-old, he was with his dad. I convinced him once to climb over the fence because I had the better shot. And he came over, his dad gave him permission, he came over, and then afterwards I thought, Christ, I've just videoed this, convincing an 18-year-old lad to stand on the edge of a crumbling cliff. I mean, he was buzzing, but that's wrong, you know. So I didn't put it out because you can't be doing things like that. And then I've sort of backed off of, you don't encourage people because it's just stupid. If you're going to take a risk, you do it yourself. And I've had to stop showing climbing over gates and fence because you just don't, you can't be seen doing that sort of thing. So if it does happen on the odd occasion, you just have to, you know, take the educated, work it out in your head, basically.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been at Staithes before. I don't know if you've ever been to
Staithes. Yeah.
You know, it's a little fishing village on the east coast near Whitby, and there's a set of cliffs opposite Staithes called Cowbar, and those cliffs are just crumbling. The National Trust, I think, own them, and they've shut it off a fair few times. And I've been up there literally and staked myself into the ground the rope to get right on the edge of the cliff, because if you don't,
you're taking this in, Ben. You see what you've got to do.
You can't get a horseshoe at the bottom. Now, and I've also done that without being roped up. Now, again, I wouldn't ever advise anybody to go and do something so stupid.
Yeah.
Because that place is lethal. But it's one of those things where when the conditions look absolutely amazing and you're hell bent on getting that shot,
yeah,
you need to take a risk. But you know, obviously there's some risk assessment that goes on.
There is, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You have your own risk assessment. I mean, the recent video I'd just done at the Sea Stacks up in North Wales. You know, that wind, when that came in, we knew it was windy, you know, but that storm, when that came in, that was hard. That really did hurt. And the fingers and my face was stinging with the way the hailstones was hitting us in the face. But the wind was blowing towards us, so we weren't at risk of being blown off the cliff. But you do have to, you know, really have to think about things you do. You know, I don't tend to walk around taking it all lighthearted. It might look like you do sometimes, but there's a lot of thought goes into it before you go and stand on something or go near the edge. You know, like yourself, you have to put a little bit of self-preservation in, even though it doesn't come across quite so much on the video.
As we were talking before about, you know, focusing on the photography, focusing on the video, you've also got to focus on what's around you as well. Many a time I've been stood on the coast and kind of almost been cut off, essentially.
Yeah.
Photographing the sea, you know, you're in your zone. You don't necessarily feel the weather as well. I find that when I'm out on location and doing images and doing video, you're that wrapped up in what you're doing, you don't realise actually you can't feel your fingers.
Yeah.
You've got sensation in your face. And then it's only when you sort of stop and think, oh, I'm really cold, and you realise you've got an hour walk to the car, and it can be quite difficult. I think that's probably where we put ourselves at risk more than other people.
Yeah.
Like you say, you're standing on a cliff edge, you're standing, you know, precarious positions. Well, yeah, we need to do it to get the shot, but also you're that much in the zone, we just need to sort of be aware of everything, really. So it's sort of like
take it all in. Yeah.
I went to a place called, I don't know if you've ever been to it, but a place called Hermitage Castle. On the Scottish border. It's where Mary Queen of Scots was, and I turned up there at 10 o'clock and it was -5, and I was that enjoying getting the Milky Way shot over the top of it. It's on one of my vlogs I've done. I got back in the car about an hour later, and no joke, I had frost on me. I had proper ice frost on my beard and everything, and it was only when I got back in the car that was actually cold. And I think the drive home from Northumberland, I think halfway down past I think I warmed up near the lake, so probably 2 hours of driving before I could feel it.
That's adrenaline. It's that thing that keeps going and going and going, isn't it? Yeah.
You realise you're out for 3 hours in -5. Something's got to give, even with all the clothes in the world. But
that's why I take Denise out with me, because she's the one that stands next to me. So I've had enough. Come on, it's getting cold. Oh yeah, you're right, it is.
As a professional fat guy, I mean, I'm 6'3" and about just shy of 24 stone, so I'm well insulated. So I tend not to feel the cold too much, but there's another guy. He's not a vlogger actually, but he's on Instagram. A guy. He's on Instagram as Northern Wild. If you get a chance to have a look.
Yes, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. He's lovely.
Yeah, nice guy. Well, me and John were up in Glencoe the other year, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, and we were shooting, a little bit of astrophotography at Etive Moor. At about sort of 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It was about -11, -12, and we were out there for about 3 or 4 hours. And again, like I could see that John was absolutely bloody freezing. There's not a lot on the lad, you know. So he's not got the additional seal padding that I've got. You know, so
We've all got a bit of that.
I've got a fair amount of beer insulation. And I was concerned for his welfare. But I think the thing is, again, this is where there's a bit of responsibility to come in and point out to people that actually, again, you do go and buy appropriate kit for what you're doing.
I used to buy a lot of cheaper stuff, but now I buy really good kit, really good clothing and gear, boots and stuff. It does make a lot of difference.
Massive difference. And if you're not going to talk about it on your own channel, at least point somebody across to a channel that does, you know, so they can understand layering and how to trap air and understand the benefits of merino wool, or understand how to, you know, keep themselves warm. Because you're never going to concentrate on your photography if you're absolutely freezing.
Yeah,
yourself.
no, 100%.
Merino wool.
Bit of merino.
Bit of merino wool. I've only found that out about a year ago. Merino wool, how good it is. I'm telling you.
My wife makes them.
I would sell my socks to any, you know, they're brilliant. The merino wool socks I buy, absolutely fantastic. And them new sealskin ones. If you're interested in getting out in the water, if you're out there getting in the water, then sealskin socks.
I'll keep mine on now. Give me ball patch up. That's it.
Sexy. Where's yours, Dan? Ben?
Yeah, I'm out of this party.
You're out, done. Now we've got the timer's just flashing up in front of me. We've got what's that? We've got about a minute left on this before it shuts down.
But it was nice chatting to everybody, and keep
take care.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Also, before we go, what about risk assessment? Really, we're going to end it like no one should be doing vlogs walking around the countryside in this current climate, because that's our risk assessment, really, to be fair.
Yeah, so, totally agree.
You know, that's responsible as well. We shouldn't be doing it. You know, there's enough to do in the garden. Go to B&Q or get B&Q to drop a lot of stone off or something. But
it's a bit tricky. I mean, I've obviously been and taken a few photos whilst the situation's been on for press supply, really. Not something that I do much anymore, but I still supply a couple every now and again.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, what you call it? I've been approached by the police during that process.
Yeah. Basically, stay home and stay safe. And listen, it's just time. We've got about 30 seconds, if that 20 seconds. So I'm going to say thanks to everybody. And I'll chat to the other guys another time, maybe later on. And stay safe. Keep your hands washed at the moment. And it's been brilliant talking to you.
Take care.
See you later.
Cheers.
Take care.
Time has just run out. That's it. We've done our time. We've had a chat. Absolutely fantastic talking to all the guys. Really, really, really enjoyed that. And another vlog, another chat with some vloggers and some photographers, different ways of life and different things and stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it may be getting a bit boring doing this same old thing, but I'm going out in the garden for the rest of the day. I'm going to go and do a bit of macro, or I might explain how to do panoramics. There must be a way I can do that from the garden. So yeah, till next time. Again, thanks for watching. Stay safe, keep your hands clean, and let's protect our NHSA. Take care. Ciao.